of us take showers, we eat something so we can get our day started, kind of wake ourselves up. Well, for people like myself, I always need that little extra boost to fully function in the morning. So what I'm talking about today is that hot, steamy, great-smelling cup of coffee. Now, that extra caffeine that's needed to get you going in the morning. I'm not talking about just any regular cup of coffee. The coffee I'm referring to is the Starbucks coffee. So today, I want to explain for you the history of the Starbucks company and how it's not just a regular coffee store. The company Starbucks all started back in 1971 with 3 people: Jerry Baldwin, Zev Siegel, and Gordon Boger. They opened a store called Starbucks Tea and Spices in Pikes Place Market in Seattle, Washington. The name Starbucks was chosen in honor of Starbuck, who was the coffee legend first made, and Hernan Melville's Moby Dick. The inspiration for Starbucks came from Alfred Pease, who owned Pease Coffee and Teas. In 1982, Howard Schultz joins the company and becomes Director of Retail Operations and Marketing. Schultz then travels to Milan, Italy to attend an international houseware show. While in Italy, he discovers an espresso bar and decides to check it out. Seeing the interaction with the customers and the baristas and the different drinks such as espresso and cappuccinos has Schultz thinking about Starbucks and how they should consider expanding their drinks to more than just brewed coffee. In 1984, Starbucks' 6th store, which was in downtown Seattle, was the first store to start selling beverages. With the store's numbers and customers rising, Schultz wanted to keep expanding the company, but the original owners did not. This led Schultz to eventually leave the company and set off on his own ventures. In 1987, Jerry Baldwin and Gordon Boger decided to sell the entire Starbucks operation in Seattle. Schultz knew he had to have the company and came up with the money needed to purchase it. After Schultz took over Starbucks, the company then started growing. From 1987 to 1992, Starbucks had stores all throughout the United States, as well as Japan, Singapore, and the Philippines. And as you can see from the chart right here, they started from 1 store in 1971, and then by 2010, they're up to over 16,000 stores. Now that you know a little about history, I'm going to talk to you about the coffee. Starbucks is not just about a quick cup of coffee. The company prides themselves on their knowledge of coffee beans and always looks to find the best flavor and quality of their coffee. Throughout most of the first year, in 1971, Starbucks purchased their coffee beans from Pease. Soon after, they bought their own roaster and began roasting their own coffee and coming up with different flavors and blends. Starbucks only buys the highest quality Arabica coffee beans and puts them through a meticulous dark roasting process to bring out the full flavors. They grow the Arabica beans in the high altitudes and in between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn on the coffee belt. The coffee belt is the area that the coffee grows, which is pretty much right down the middle of the earth. So as you can see right here, just right between the middle of the world. Starbucks only buys their coffee beans from 3 regions, which is Latin America, Africa, and Asia Pacific. Because of those regions, distinct flavors. The reason these beans are chosen is because they don't need any pesticides to grow, and they grow slowly to ensure a complex flavor. They consider the roasting of his coffee beans to be an art form. Starbucks roasts each batch in a powerful gas oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. They have highly trained, experienced roasting personnel who monitor the process. These personnel use both smell and hearing to judge when the beans are ready. The coffee beans make a popping sound when they're done. The standards for roasting at Starbucks are so high that the roasters test the color of the beans in a blood cell analyzer and disregard every entire batch that the reading wasn't on target. In 1998, Starbucks had 3 roasting plants. Howard Schultz was adamant about not selling artificially flavored coffee. He stated, We will not pollute our high-quality beans with chemicals. So if a customer were to want like a hazelnut flavored or vanilla flavored coffee, instead of chemically polluting the beans, what they'll do is they'll put flavor into the drink, so they'll do the syrup flavor. As time went on, Starbucks began expanding their menus and offering more than just their coffee and espresso beverages. In 1995, Starbucks came out with the Frappuccino blended beverages and acquired the Tazo teas in 1998. Now, along with their coffee, they also pride themselves with their employees. So, in 1988, Starbucks was the first company to offer full benefits to full and part-time employees. In 1991, they became the first privately owned U.S. company to offer a stock option program that included part-time employees. These benefit programs were established on the belief that better benefits attract good people and keep them longer. Schultz also believed that if you treat your employees well, they'll treat your customers well. I spoke with a Starbucks employee who's also a lead supervisor and has been with the company for years about the reasons he chose Starbucks. Employee Joseph Sharp told me the reason for working at Starbucks were simple. He said the benefits are great and that Starbucks is well known for the great way they treat their partners. Joseph stated, I also enjoy customer service and providing people with a smile and a delicious cup of coffee. His reason for drinking Starbucks over any other coffee was, as he stated, I drink Starbucks because I work there. They use high quality coffee and I'm addicted to the caffeine. I myself am a former Starbucks employee, and I am proud to say that I once worked for this company and would continue to work for Starbucks. And I would like to share with you their mission statement. Our mission, to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. Here are the principles of how we live that every day. Our coffee. It has always been and will always be about quality. We're passionate about ethically sourcing the finest coffee beans, roasting them with great care, and improving the lives of people who grow them. We care deeply about all of this. Our work is never done. Our partners. We're called partners because it's not just a job, it's our passion. Together, we embrace diversity to create a place where each of us can be ourselves. We always treat each other with respect and dignity, and we hold each other to that standard. Our customers. When we are fully engaged, we connect with, laugh with, and uplift the lives of our customers, even if for just a few moments. Sure, it starts with the promise of a perfectly made beverage, but our work goes far beyond that. It's really about human connection. So in conclusion, whenever you want your morning cup of coffee, your ice-flavored espresso drink, or your blended frappuccino, just remember you're not going into any just regular coffee shop. Starbucks is a well-known corporation that prides itself on their coffee and would choose quality over quantity.
So Ahmed, what did you think?
She had a great topic and her introduction was clear, so as well as her thesis was clear. Her visual aids were well in place, but she was reading a lot off the paper, but I did that too. But overall, I think it was a well prepared presentation.
All right. There's a lot of material in the speech. It's organized chronologically for the most part. I think you need to break it up a little bit so that the transitions give us a chance to see how all of this fits together. Otherwise, it just becomes one long data dump, and you want to have a little more control over what's going on there. I like the introduction to, although it did sound familiar since we had a similar kind of speech a few minutes ago on the sleep deprivation and hitting the clock, the alarm clock, and hating to get up, all those kinds of things. So that's just one of the perils of having multiple speeches on a single day. I have to agree that I think that you do a lot of reading. Sometimes you do the reading pretty